What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. If you're looking to boost your health and wellness, check out hostel.com for the top quality supplements and use the code FAZI10 at checkout for exclusive 10% discount. Please do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with just over 17 weeks of physique update of Regan Grimes, checking in at over 300 pounds, looking absolutely massive, and Regan isn't a guy who stays super lean during the off-season, unlike guys like Samson or Derek. But this right here has got to be his heaviest and the leanest he has ever looked during his entire career, at least this far out of the shoe. So the man is 6 feet tall. So these guys take more time to fill out. But this has to be the year where Regan should not get this feedback from the judges that he still needs more size, because the man took 2 years off in the last 3 years. And it seems like his upper body, that is gonna be very round, especially based on all of these updates. Now we all know his back is just spectacular, but his quads, especially from the front, that quad sweep, that can definitely improve. And this is what Regan has been trying to do throughout this offseason. So Regan is among those tall, extremely aesthetic bodybuilders who have incredible X-frame and an amazing V-taper. And the entire world of bodybuilding has been waiting for so many years to see Regan at his full potential. And 2025 might be the one where Regan takes out some very big names. Now credit must be given to him and his former coach, Milos Sarcev, for bringing a very short version at the Olympia back in 2023, and he was able to place top 9 at that show. Now this time he has been working with Stefan, who has got this reputation of bringing his athletes in a mind-blowing condition in every single show. So the New York Pro is happening in May, and that is going to be Regan's first show of the year. And just because that show is scheduled just 1 week after Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro this year is going to have an insane lineup. Next up, we have Samson Dauda from today. Another shoulder workout, another day closer to potentially winning his second Arnold title. So there has been so many things happening in Samson's life, especially in the recent times, with a new house, a new car, and setting up his own gym. And the man has been enjoying this prep a lot, because the thing is staying busy and getting distracted. That is one of the biggest factors, which massively impacts the prep, especially at the highest level. So Samson might have started to suffer just a bit now, as we are less than 6.5 weeks out from this upcoming Arnold. But mentally, that hasn't kicked in just yet. Now I was kind of surprised when he revealed that he is gonna continue to train his quads very heavy throughout this prep, because he wants his legs to stay very round and very huge and have that massive quad sweep with that insane detail, because Samson's quads, they are already one of the best in the world. But this guy has a track record of improving from one show to the next one, and none of us will be even a bit surprised if that trend continues for this year as well.
Legs training yesterday, and yes, one thing I'm doing with my legs training this prep as well is keeping the weight a lot more heavier, and not bringing it down. So I want to keep that big solid volume on the quads, especially on the outer sweep. I want to really keep that and build on that this prep. I have a lot more volume on the outer sweep of the quads.
There is, however, one big factor that can also play a major role, and that is him being the reigning Olympia champion, because that puts that added pressure to perform every single time at such a high level. So the expectations from the fans, as well as the entire bodybuilding world, that's not an easy thing to handle, and for a lot of these guys out there. So we will see how Samson handles that sort of pressure. But as of right now, he seems like the most chill guy in the world right now. Next up, we have an update from Andrew Jack, who this time is just so focused on his back, and to close that gap between him and guys like Hadi, Samson, and Derek, as the man is entering into this upcoming Arnold in the hopes to win that show and redeem himself. And these two guys, Samson and Derek, they are his biggest competition at this upcoming show. Now Derek, we all know, is gonna take that back double biceps, but if we look at Andrew's back, especially that back double biceps from Texas Pro, and compare that to Samson's back double from this past Miss Olympia, well, these guys aren't very far apart. So even if Andrew loses both the back shots, he should not be losing those shots by a big margin. So we are close to 6 weeks out of this upcoming Arnold, and it seems like there is no camp psycho training for Andrew this time, because normally he's there in the US, training and posing with Chris Lewis aka Psycho Fitness. And it is gonna be interesting this time how this whole thing translates on the stage if Andrew in fact does all his training on his own. Because there is a camp in that bodybuilding community who doesn't like Andrew and Psycho Fitness training during those final few weeks. Because we have heard that from so many big names out there that these guys are doing too much in those final few weeks. So Andrew in his recent YouTube video looks very round and very muscular, and the man is gonna continue to get better and better with every passing week. And with the height and the bone structure that this guy has, we can never count him out. He might come in and shock the entire bodybuilding world in 6 weeks' time. But do let me know what you guys think.
I think Kevin Levrone is a freaking legend, man, and a renaissance man, to say the least. This is a guy who, when I got, encouraged to compete, I was researching everything about him, his physique, but also his presentation. His confidence was like through the roof. And just to know what kind of genetic freak he was, to the fact that I would go to Woodland Hills, where Flex Magazine used to be headquartered at. And I used to hear all these stories about Kevin downsizing to 210 pounds off season, and then just getting a wild hair up his ass and saying, I'll compete. And then in 10 weeks, he's 250 pounds on stage. It's just insane, man. And then being able to share the stage with him, I believe it was 2016, was obviously a dream come true. I mean, it wasn't something about oh, I want to beat this guy, because clearly he was past his prime, but just to share the moment with him, man, I love that guy. He's incredible.
Not the first time someone has publicly acknowledged the legend Kevin Levrone and the kind of impact that he had on others as a professional bodybuilder. And this is coming from none other than the 7 times Miss Olympia, one of the greatest of all time, Phil Heath himself. And he also heard all those stories of Kevin Levrone downsizing up to a point where he was literally unrecognizable, and then getting full blown as he started his prep. And that term, growing into the show, that got mainstream after Kevin Levrone. Now Kevin Levrone has a unique record of placing 4 times runner-up at the Olympia, which is the most number of times an IFBB pro placed second at the Olympia without winning a standout. So Jake Adler placed second at the Olympia 6 times, but he also won 4 Miss Olympia titles. So Kevin's record is unique in his own way. So there is a reason that the man was given the nickname the Maryland Muscle Machine. The muscularity on this guy was absolutely mind-blowing. So a lot of us fans were lucky enough to witness Kevin's comeback, which happened back in 2016 when he decided to make his way back to the stage. And as Phil Heath said, that he was only a shadow of his former self. And if we glance over Kevin's career, especially in the early 2000s, his legs were getting smaller with every passing year. So that was kind of expected that Kevin's lower body, that will not be up to the point, especially for this current day and age. But still, that is a good memory for all of us fans who weren't able to see him compete in the 90s. So what do you guys think? Is Kevin one of the biggest uncrowned Miss Olympia of all time? Next up is the update of the former Miss Olympia and 2 times Arnold champion, Brandon Carey. So Brandon has a very big question mark on his future compared to some of these other guys like William Bonac, because for the very first time in almost a decade, he isn't doing a prep in that oxygen gym environment. Plus, he also has a new coach this time. So we really cannot predict where Brandon is gonna land. So that 9th place at this past Miss Olympia, that must have been very hard for him. But we did know that he started his Olympia prep last year very late. And Brandon at this stage of his career cannot do a 12 weeks prep and expect to beat all of these young up and coming guys who are improving at such a fast pace. Now I do feel like that Brandon is probably one of the most disrespected Miss Olympia of all time, because even before the Olympia last year, when the man was consistently placing in the top 4, he was being counted out every single time. And guys like James, Sean and Carlos Thomas Jr., they are all gunning for him at this upcoming Arnold. So where do you guys think Carey is gonna land at this upcoming Arnold at the age of 42? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.